So, check this out, people. So, I've been back for about 2 months now here in the US, right? And I left New York some weeks ago and I'm in Connecticut, right? Because this is where most of my work is, right? So, I prefer to stay and live in Connecticut, right? And so, I'm in my room, right? The where I'm renting a small space for the few months that I'm here, right? And I wake up, I'm chilling, I'm relaxed. I got up, brushed my teeth, washed my face, right, whatever, right? And I'm laying down, and I hear this commotion. I hear a female, right, a girl screaming, yelling, right, and I could tell something was gonna go down, right, because of the way the uh, the screaming, the yelling, the whole back and forth thing was going, right. So I put on my shoes and I run downstairs real quick, and I stand outside and I'm looking across the street, right? And I see this relatively old man. He could be in his, I don't know, mid 60s, late 60s, or early 70s, right? He's standing on the side of his working truck. It's one of those, working vehicles where they have the two storage boxes on the back of the bay, right? And so there's this girl who is halfway out of her car, right? Her boyfriend is driving. I'm assuming it's her boyfriend, right? He's driving. And they're at the light, right? And while they're at the light, the woman or the girl, maybe, I don't know, 20, whatever, she's got her body sticking out and literally halfway out of the passenger seat. And she's yelling and screaming at this older man who's parked on the side and who's opening his toolbox. I don't know, he had something in his hand. It looked like a crowbar. And so I could hear the girl saying, "Oh, you got something in your hand, whatever, you got a weapon, whatever," right? And I'm just standing there and I'm listening and I'm watching, right? Because I'm chismoso, right? I'm curious. And so I'm watching, and while the girl is yelling and screaming, because none of these two guys are talking. I can't hear the old man and I cannot hear the other guy who's the driver. None of them are talking. The only one yelling and screaming and instigating this whole thing is the woman, right? Keep that in mind, guys. And so as I'm watching, as soon as the old man turns around and he puts the tool that he had in his hand away, crowbar, whatever it was, he turns around. The young kid, he was maybe in his 20s, probably, I don't know, 6 foot something, 220, 250, right? Big guy, bigger than the old man, taller, stronger, healthier, younger, right? So he gets out of his car and he runs towards the old man who had his back turned, right? And he just boom clocks him from behind, catches him somewhere around here, right? Now I see all of this coming, and I want to yell at the old man, "Look out!" I wanted to say, "Look out!" But I used to fight before, and I've been in fights plenty of times. I know that if I would have yelled, "Look out," and the old man would have turned around, that the punch that that young kid threw would have caught him in the face. Probably would have hurt him really, really, really bad. So I didn't say anything. I just let, whatever take its course. Right? Sometimes you just got to let things be. And I know women hate that when they see men fighting, but sometimes you just got to let it go. Because if you get involved, someone could get seriously hurt. Right? Women are always trying to hold somebody back. They're always trying to get involved. They're either instigating the fight or trying to stop it. It's always something. You got to back off and let two men be men, right? And so, he threw the punch. I didn't say anything. They squared off for a few seconds. Of course, the younger guy had the upper hand. One, he snuffed the guy when he wasn't looking, so he was a little dazed. The old man ducked. He missed, the younger kid missed him with the second punch. But he caught him after 2 or 3 other punches, The old man got clocked. He hit him, and boom, the old man went down. And that's when that young kid stood over him, leaned down, and just started punching the old guy while he was down on the ground. And so I ran towards him and said, "Yo, my man, that's enough. That's enough." Right? I understand. I don't know what went down. I don't know what the old man did. I don't know what the young kid did. I don't know nothing. It's none of my business. All I know is that two men were fighting and that it should be a fair fight. And once the old man went down, I thought the kid was going to turn around and get in his car and take off. But no, he leaned over and kept going and going. So I ran over and said, "Hey, enough. That's enough." And the girl said, "Hey, he spit on my boyfriend. He spit on him." And so, kid ran into his car. They took off. I helped the old man up, helped him into his car. There were other bystanders who saw what happened. They came over. They said they had the couple's, the young couple's license plate number, right? And so the cop showed up after a few minutes, and the police report, witness report, whatever. And so, this is what I came back to. Now, that's not to say that people don't fight in the Philippines, right? Because obviously that happens. I've seen plenty of fights, right? But there's a difference, right? There's a difference in how in the Philippines the elderly are respected and revered, right? And here the elderly, they're not respected. And I'm starting to understand why America is so divided, right? And why China may be united, the Philippines and other countries who are not just like-minded, but who look the same, who act the same, who have the same foods, culture, and similarities, right? In the US, we don't have that, right? We don't have that. We have a country of Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Cubans, Indians, you name it, we got it, right? So how can we be united? We can't. We can't be united, not as one nation, because we're not one nation. We're many nations living within a nation. And so the Puerto Ricans want to be with the Puerto Ricans. The blacks want to be with the blacks. The whites want to be with the whites. Everybody is divided. So how can we be united? It ain't going to happen, not in this country. Not unless we start identifying as one people, right? Not African American, not white, not all this nonsense, but Americans. One nation, one people. When I'm in the Philippines and they ask me, "Where are you from?" I say, "I'm from the US. I'm American." Right? That's where I'm from. My nationality is Puerto Rican, but I'm an American citizen, right? And so when you compare these things, right, culture especially, here in America, we have no culture. We have no respect for the elderly, right? Puerto Ricans will respect their elders, right? But we won't respect another race's elders, right? Because if this young kid respected his elders, he won't run up on a 70-year-old man and snuff him when he ain't looking, right? But that's the generation we're living in today. See, that kid is not a man. I made a video talking about a 13-year-old boy can be a man, right? I also talked about how in the Philippines, a 19-year-old is like a 40-year-old here because there are already women in that country, right? But then you have boys here in the US who are in their 20s, who are just that, boys, who don't know how to be men, who don't know how to act. And then there's always a woman who is his sidekick, right? Who's the instigator of all of these things. And this is what a lot of women don't understand, that this is why men get hurt. This is why men get killed. This is why men die, right? It's because of women like the one who was out here yelling and screaming, instigating, while the other two weren't saying nothing. The only one you heard for, I don't know, miles was the girl with her head out the car, screaming and yelling. and cursing and instigating and instigating and instigating, because that's what they do. See, she could have got out the car and done what her boyfriend did, but women don't do that. What they try to do is get you amped up, right? Instigate, get you fired up so you can go ahead and do what this kid did. And she got exactly what she wanted, right? She manipulated him. She manipulated them both, and this is what women do. See, because they're not the ones who have to fight. And this is what women don't understand. They need to mind their business and let men be men, and men handle another man. There's no reason for a woman to be yelling and screaming at another man. None at all, especially when she has a man with her in the car and she's just a passenger. See, the problem is that women want to be like men. They don't let men handle their business. And then men don't check their girls and be like, hey, listen, I'm a man. Let me handle this. I got it. Or shut the fuck up. You're going to get me killed. You see, because that's what women do. Or you're going to get me arrested because you're going to get me to hurt somebody. Like in this case, this elderly man could have been seriously hurt because not just of what, because of what the kid did, but because of the woman, the girl, the instigator. See, women, you have to know when to back off. You don't let men be men when it comes to the household, right? And then you don't let a man be a man when it comes to the streets, because you want to open your mouth. This is why the jails are full of men who are either protecting a woman who doesn't need or deserve his protection, or because of some woman like this chicken head instigating a fight and, creating a scene, which doesn't make sense. Listen, most wars in this world and most fights have been started over a woman or because of a woman. And of course, not every woman is like this. I have to say that. That's my disclaimer. Not every woman is the same. Not every woman is a chicken head. Not every woman behaves this way. But let's just keep it real. Most women here, at least where I'm from, that I deal with, where I live, where I work, are ghetto as hell. They don't know how to act. They don't know how to dress. They don't know how to talk. They don't have no class. And then they get mad, they get angry when a man tells them what it is a man wants or expects from a woman. The same way a woman is constantly talking about what she wants from a man, when a man tells a woman what he wants, she can't do it. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I was in a situation just like this recently. Or not recently, a few years ago, right? Because of some chicken head that I was dating who started a fight and, of course, has to involve her friends from, I don't know where, because I don't know her friends from a hole in the wall, and has to get me caught up in some bullshit. Right. This is what women do. They instigate. Instead of being quiet and letting men handle their business so that these freaking scam calls. Instead of allowing men to be men. You see, when women are fighting, when two women are arguing and fighting, you don't see a man getting in and screaming at the other woman and yelling at the other woman and screaming and encouraging his girlfriend to go ahead and do something. Any man that does that is a bitch. Like, he must have something between his legs and it's not balls, right? A man who behaves that feminine, because that's feminine. That's just whack. That doesn't make any sense. But you understand, ladies, if a man was doing that, if a man had his body outside of the car window, the passenger side, yelling and screaming at a woman while you're driving, encouraging you and engaging in a way so that you can become physical with this chick Just imagine that scenario, how gay that looks on a man. But you think it's cute when you do it and get your man killed or have him arrested. It doesn't make any sense. You know, I'm always going to go back to this thing with the women. American women don't have no class. None. You get your men killed, you get them arrested, you have them constantly in and out of the court systems, whether it's child support, whether it's family court, whether it's criminal court, whatever it is. It's always something. I mean, just go to the prisons here in the U.S. and ask everyone there. If you have a chance to interview them, it's going to be one of two things. It's either going to be drugs or a woman, or both. That's got them there. And so men have to be smart. Men have to be able to pick and choose a woman that's going to be someone who's going to benefit him, an asset, right? Not someone who's going to pull him down or bring him down, right? A man has to be the head to his wife, to his girlfriend, be an example, and lead. And if he can't do that and she can't follow, he needs to take off and find someone who can follow. But first he has to know and learn how to lead. Because if not, he's going to find himself in prison or in a box. Because a lot of the times that's what women do. So, thank you people for watching. Have a good day. And have a good night.